Five.
Each of us has our own unique background and story of how we became a part of Chiefs Kingdom.
Our reach is far and wide, with fans all over the world cheering on our Kansas City Chiefs.
Everyone donning the red and gold has figuratively signed that mutual agreement and come together for one common purpose.
For 76,000 of us at a time, to descend upon Arrowhead, man our stations, let out our loudest battle cry to the tune of 142.2 decibels, and make that stadium rock until our opponents beg for mercy.
We are unrelenting in our pride for this city, these players, and this team. This is the show for the allies, Arrowhead Allies.
Welcome to Arrowhead Allies, Tuesday, January the 16th, 2024, where your Kansas City Chiefs just took care of business 3 days ago against the Miami Dolphins. It was too cold. It was too frozen. It was too snowy. It was bad. The Chiefs came out and they took care of business. Harrison Butker stayed warm, kicking 4 field goals. And Patrick Mahomes said, I don't care if it's the coldest playoff game in Chiefs playoff history and the 4th coldest game in NFL history. I'm going to take care of business. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Kansas City Chiefs freaks worldwide of all ages. Again, welcome to Arrowhead Allies. We got Pat Mahomes Sr. joining us shortly, as well as Rashee Rice's wide receiver / offensive coordinator, Rob Likens, his coach down at SMU. It's going to be a great time. Thank you for joining us. What do you say, Mr. Clint Schweitzer?
well, here I am. You know, I'm thawed. I think we all are by now. It's a balmy 11 degrees today here in Kansas City as we set our sights on the Buffalo Bills in the divisional playoff round. Shane, you said it best. You talked about Miami and the struggles, and I got to give Brian B. Shining credit. You said all year, you called them those cute little Dolphins. And rest assured, those Dolphins on the helmets in the 70s, 80s, and 90s were cute. Not so much the same anymore. Brian, you called it. The cute little Dolphins, they faded into obscurity just like you thought they would, my friend.
Oh, man, it's good to be back, fellas. Love the energy. And, man, look, it comes to fruition every year. It happened last year to the Dolphins. This year, a little different because the injuries really caught up with them on the defensive side of the ball. But, man, look, all that old cute stuff they was doing when the weather was nice in September, October, the turf is perfectly manicured. I love a nice manicured turf. Look, like the Dolphins have some of the best grass in the National Football League. That's why they have so many Super Bowls down there. Hell, we won Super Bowl 54 in Miami with that nice turf. There was no complaints during that one. But look, y'all love a nice manicured lawn. And it's good to run routes and do nice cuts and reverses and ooh-wees and skip-de-doodle-doodles. All the things that the Dolphins were doing when it was sunny and bright and nice and beautiful outside. Oh,
Absolutely.
Old man winter. But old man winter, he comes knocking. He comes calling. And it's an ugly winter right now in Kansas City. It's brutal outside, okay? You don't want to see your worst enemy outside because it feels like a damn ice box. You go outside, bam, you get smacked in the face with the cold. And that's what happened to the Dolphins. Not only did they get smacked in the face by the cold, they got smacked in the face by L'Jarius Sneed. They got smacked in the face by Trent McDuffie. Oh, boy, they were laying the wood on them cute little Dolphins. The Arrowhead, the frozen tundra? That's the new frozen tundra at Arrowhead, baby, because it went down on that beautifully manicured Arrowhead Stadium field.
We've got a treat in here. We got Nick Lowry, Chiefs Hall of Famer, Ring of Fame. Hey guys, I was there Saturday down by the field for 30 minutes and never seen better commercial. We had pretty much full stadium despite the weather and one of the best games you can imagine. Harrison Butker so deserves to be an All-Pro, and he should be.
Agreed, man. That guy is amazing. The disrespect for the Chiefs, and I think that just as much as we see it as, fans and people really looking at the game, of course the players see it. So that L'Jarius is out there saying, hey, I have to shut down Tyreek so they know that I'm truly an all-pro guy. But Harrison is like, hey, I'm not trying to miss any kick because of all this disrespect you have given me. And, I can't believe people actually thought the Dolphins could come to Kansas City and pick up a victory. I'm here in LA. It's 63 degrees right now. We're cold. It feels pretty much the same way in Miami. So if you have to go down to where it's any type of negative number on the weather, I knew it was going to be a struggle. And the Chiefs came and they're ready to go. I'm so excited for this matchup this week. But I know we got to continue to talk about this Dolphin Chief performance by the Kansas City.
Yeah, and I think we got a little bit of my reaction to Tyreek. Did get his. He got one back. He got a touchdown here, so we're going to see that, and then I think we get my reaction after it. This deep ball here. Oh, man, Tyreek Hill, he can locate a football and like
fortuitous underthrow.
Hey, and can I say that? Like that's what we look. Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Wow. Me after that touchdown.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you.
Congratulations. Consolation prize for you. Yes.
You're ridiculous.
Shout out Tyreek for that catch because I think that we look at his speed, and that's the first thing we think about. Is cheetah. He's super fast. But his ability to track the football and to like either go and get it or just to find it so fast and then make a play is why that guy may end up a top 5 receiver of all time. So I'm happy he did. At once wear a Chiefs jersey, but he's not on the Chiefs now. He's
no, he is not. We've got Mecole Hardman. Last week, I called my shot saying you can't go deep to him. So let's take a look at this. I just think that Mecole has some value. He's got a package that he can run intermediate sort of downfield, but deep downfield, the man is lost, cannot locate a football, cannot keep his feet in bounds. Anything deep downfield, we're going to have to find someone else to run because that's just not in Mecole's game. We have to accept it, and we saw it twice. It didn't work out. So as long as we keep him in that intermediate to behind the line of scrimmage to at the line of scrimmage, I'm fine with using Mecole. That's Mecole Hardman we know and love.
Well, that's the guy that we hope better. It's going to have to step up.
Oh, man.
Buffalo.
Man.
I mean, let's be honest. He's going to be needed because I think that they're going to do everything they can to take Rashee Rice out. So we'll just see. We'll see how the game works out.
Well, he is going to be needed because this has become the ultimate addition by subtraction situation. Against all odds, the Chiefs have become a more prolific offense and a better team by firing and or making up fake IR roles for a lot of these receivers that we've been bagging on. Kadarius Toney, you're gone. Sky Moore, well, you're hurt. You suck. You're gone. You're out. Mecole Hardman, step on up. Let's get in here. Let's draw a penalty that wasn't called, or let's go downfield and not be able to locate it. This team, guys, has gotten better simply by trimming the fat, as it were. Sky Moore, you're too hurt. Sorry, you can't play here.
Noah, can we please run it back, please?
What, the Mecole video?
Yes, sir, please.
It's got audio over it, so we can't talk over it, sadly. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Look, when I first saw that play, I said, why did he underthrow that? What? Yeah. I certainly did. I thought it was a severe underthrow. What we talk about? Where y'all see where that ball landed?
And Mecole had no idea that it landed there. He had no clue where the football
because he's running straight.
No, it could have been a better throw, but you a hopeful guy.
Twice.
He's running straight.
Yeah, it just shows he's not Tyreek.
For football in the sky, you can't.
No, Patrick needs to let him run and make a play. Not turn him inside.
Patrick, but
he's running straight, fam. Look, I'm just saying that. Look, I could be wrong. Maybe Mecole was supposed to turn in, and maybe it was supposed to be a post. I doubt it. It looked like a straight 9 to me.
I agree. It
looked like a 9 route, dog.
You
Well,
just hope that he make
you
that
guys are
play.
too busy trying to cost us a Super Bowl, so why stop now?
What? No, are you telling me if Patrick if Patrick lays that out, he just booms it, he throws it, and McCole had his man beat by a couple yards.
He wouldn't
Yeah.
locate the football.
Because the ball was inside.
No, I'm saying even if it was up over, he wouldn't have located the foot. He does
I
not
bet you he
locate
would
footballs
have.
downfield. He does not. He has no clue where the ball is. We saw it 3 different times in that game. We saw it in the Chargers game the week before. We saw it in Super Bowl 55 twice. The man has no clue where the football
don't
is.
even bring up 55 now.
Hey,
Come on now. You're going to bring up 55.
I am, because it happened twice.
But even with that,
no clue.
Even with that, McCole still, like, you still have to cover that. And I think that his play, just with his speed alone, allows things to open up for Rashee Rice and even sometimes Trav, because he still has that speed that you can see the Dolphins still feared it. They still had to drop guys back. It was a play that Rashee made when he made the big catch where he should have scored, where 2 guys followed McCole into the flat, because it's like, man, we don't want this guy to catch the ball with the type of burners he has and make any type of plays. So whether he's like catching it or not, the threat of McCole being out there with his speed, guys, teams have to respect it. And like this Dolphin game really showed it. Now imagine if he catches 1 or 2 of those passes, then it's really going, it's really crazy.
I have to imagine. That's all I'm left with. So
put on his rookie tape.
I think we should talk the positive, and that is Rashee Rice.
Oh,
I mean, we've been nitpicking and justifiably critical of the wide receiver roster this entire season. I think we got a diamond in the rough with Rashee Rice in the second round. He looks like a healthy Juju Smith-Schuster and a healthy Sammy Watkins. He's showing a lot of potential, and I think that he's going to be the guy that's going to carry us to a victory this Sunday in Buffalo. What do you think, Brian?
Well, just in time, we actually are being joined
by
none other than Silky P himself, a.k.a. Pat Mahomes. Pat, what's up, buddy?
What's up, fellas?
Hey, Pat. It's great to have you back, man. Appreciate you always. Hey, I got to ask you a question. We got the Swifties out there now, Pat. When I found out Travis Kelce was dating Taylor Swift, I honestly didn't know any of her music, and I still don't. But my daughters told me themselves, they said, Dad, Travis Kelce dating Taylor Swift, it's kind of a big deal. Now that you had a chance to be up in the suite with her and celebrate New Year's Eve with Taylor Swift and whatnot, what can you tell us about the phenomenon that is Taylor Swift, Pat?
Oh man, she's down to earth. I actually walked up and introduced myself to her, and she said that she knew who I was because she had watched the quarterback series. But down to earth. Took a picture with me and my wife, and also took a picture with me and my daughter. So I mean, she was genuine. Every time I've hung out with her, she just acts like a normal person.
Awesome. Hey, Mr. Mahomes, glad to have you back on the show. I got a 2-part question because I'm going somewhere with it. When I was younger, one of my early nicknames was Badass Brian. Was Patrick Mahomes a bad kid? Like, did he get in trouble sometimes?
Never. He actually was pretty good. I got lucky on that half of it. So I think Lord punished me. I had two daughters late. All the boys seemed to do pretty well, but the girls are going to be what's going to get me.
All right. So I'm asking because this is his first road playoff game in the National Football League, and Patrick just seems like a petty, vindictive Virgo, as his birthday is September 17th. Can you give us a little insight as to maybe the evil side of Patrick Mahomes, Patrick coming out during this road game in Buffalo, so he can piss off those fans?
There's two sides of Patrick. You got the Patrick that walks, the street, that just lives life normally, and then you got the one that plays on the football field. So it takes a lot to trigger the one on the football field, but once that trigger goes off, you've seen it this year. He will snap a little bit, but he's actually, when it gets playoff time, man, he knows what it's worth. They've been working out the whole year, trying to get to this point where they can get a chance to win a Super Bowl and all that stuff. So he turns it up to a different level, and that's one of the things I think that drives him and his team, because once he gets to that point, he turns into the ultimate leader, and he gets down and it's a whole different person.
Hey, what's up, Mr. Mahomes? Just when it comes to Pat, and even your thoughts just on the receiver room, has he mentioned anything about like the growth of a Rashee Rice to you and the way that he's performing this late in the season, what he was, from where he started in training camp? And what's your thoughts just on the growth of this player and the receiver room, because they're going to be the big story once again coming into this game. The defense is playing well. We know Pat, we know Trav. It's going to be a lot about the receivers.
Yeah, we talk often, and we discuss the receivers. We discuss, the whole team. We discuss the game plans and everything. And one thing that he's been constant about, that he's always said, was that, that the guys are getting better and better. He said, it may not be showing yet, but they're coming. And so I knew just as long as they kept working and practicing and getting together and gathering that chemistry, I knew that if we just got ourselves into the playoffs, that we were going to be a dangerous team. And I think that's going to bear out as we watch the rest of the playoffs.
Pat, I wanted to ask you this, not just as an observer of the game, as all of us were, because we've never seen this before, but as a father, just kind of the thoughts that you had seeing his helmet break and them having to get a new helmet. He's frustrated. It's cold. It's not fitting right. So if we could just get your thoughts on that.
Well, I mean, it was cold. I mean, that was the main ingredient. I mean, helmets aren't meant to be placed in places like that. I don't think nobody's meant to be placed in places like that unless you're a polar bear or something like that. But it was kind of crazy, seeing the piece, pop off and seeing the crack in the helmet. And at that point, he's so focused on what's going on in the game and trying to get that victory. I imagine it was a little frustrating, probably figuring they were going to have to take a timeout for him to go get it fixed. But fortunately, the referees let him continue playing without having to do that. And we were able to go on and do what we needed to do.
Pat, do you feel like that this team has flipped a switch? We saw this offense struggle. We saw the team struggle. We saw inexplicable losses, turnovers, mistakes that really cost this team. It's playoff time. Field goals are good business. Throwing the ball away is good business. Not turning the ball over, that's good business. We've seen it. Do you feel like this team has kind of flipped a switch and, despite where this team was, 11-6, didn't get the 1 seed, didn't get the 2 seed, but here you are, you're going to Buffalo, and why not the Kansas City Chiefs at this point, right?
Exactly. As a former ball player, I can tell you that, playing in some World Series and playing in some playoff games, that it's a different level, man. I mean, the energy is so much different. You get so hyped up to play these games. I mean, this is what you dream of, playing in games like this. And you don't never want to, waste an opportunity. You never know how many you're going to get to. I mean, a lot of people probably thought they were going to get to way more than what they had, and that doesn't happen. So when you get the chance to play in these big games like this, you got to cherish it and make sure you leave it all out there on the line. And that's something that I do know that 1-5 is going to do every time he goes out on the field. He's going to leave it all out there and try to do whatever he can to win the game. So, it goes back to the motto, the family motto, players make plays. And so this is the season when you got to make plays. And I think that we're great. I think we're in a good spot right now. I know everybody's a little worried about going to Buffalo, but, football is football. It don't matter if you play it in Buffalo or you play it in Kansas City, even though the kingdom is a big advantage, but you still got to play the game, and you go out there and play the game the way it's supposed to be played, good things will happen.
Amen to that. Pat, speaking of what you did with New York Mets in 1999, you came in clutch situations to get the Mets some victories in the National League Championship Series. I kind of put that in the same scenario with Patrick going on the road. This is his first time to play a road playoff game. That, to me, enhances your legacy. When you go on the road, when you go into the den, the Lions' den, enemy territory, where the Bills Mafia is going to be calling Patrick and names and Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce names, I am so stoked at writing the back of Patrick's legacy into this game at Rich Stadium. I mean, I'm so stoked. I got to know, Pat, do you have the cigar ready after the game? Talk to me.
Oh, definitely. I've already had some sent to me. I'm gonna have them ready to go. I'm expecting us to go out and take care of business. It's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be interesting to see how this game goes down and how he reacts to playing on the road. But I have no doubt that he will go out and perform, and the team will go out and perform. And you got a lot of experience in that room. I mean, yeah, we got a young team, but you got guys that went to the Super Bowl last year and won a Super Bowl that knows what these feelings are all about, knows what these game situations are all about. And it's a little different. I mean, everything can't be perfect, set up perfect for you every time when you play at home every game, So to go out on the road, I think is a good thing, because they've been out on the road before. Patrick played road games before. They just happen to be Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
76% win percentage in his
Yes,
career.
sir.
76.
That part.
Mr. Mahomes, earlier you talked about Patrick showing his frustration publicly, and it just so happened to be against these Bills, where many called it a meltdown. And I just wanted to see, like, from your perspective, what did you say to him? Because I'm pretty sure you were one of the first people who he talked to. What was it like trying to talk to him in that moment after that? Probably the most frustrating part of the season.
After the moment wasn't that bad. I kind of blame myself for that moment a little bit. I had been talking to him all week, and we were trying to figure out how to get everybody going and to get everybody playing on the same level and to be ready. And I had said something to him about maybe not in public, but behind the scenes, maybe you need to be a little bit more aggressive with the guys and tell them that we got to get stuff done. This is this is the NFL, and we got to start making these plays. And if we make these plays, we're going to be all right. And I think at that point, he just was so frustrated that it happened like that after he thought that he had made a play and Kelce had made a play and Tony had made a play to win that game, that it was called back. And I think it just all exploded, and he goes into that mode where he doesn't know what he's saying or what he's doing. And it was just a rare occasion where it just kind of all exploded at one time. But I'm happy that we got out of it without it being too bad.
Speaking to that, Pat, I kind of wanted to ask you, kind of go off of that. Do you think they've kind of found their way through the season, but it was a process to find their way without Eric Bieniemy? A lot of people talk about that. He held players accountable. And do you think Pat's kind of had to become that guy to hold players accountable? I know you'd like that to be a coach. Eric Bieniemy kind of wore that, but now Patrick's had to become that guy.
Well, I don't know if he's actually became that guy. I mean, I know he actually tries to lead, but he kind of, leads more by example than, being a in-your-face type of guy. He tries to build up instead of tear down. He wants everybody to know that, I'm going to still keep firing the ball to you. I still trust you. I still believe in you. I still believe in this team. And I just think that the guys are, they're getting comfortable where they can, make some plays and everything. And like I said from the beginning of the playoffs, if we catch the ball and we block the way we're supposed to do, that I think we got as good a chance as anybody to win it all.
Mr. Mahomes, so I'm based here in Los Angeles, California, and we like to say that we create the best athletes here, no matter what sport it is. But them Texas boys, man, y'all create some athletes. You got Pat, Rashee Rice is from Texas as well. What do you think about Texas? What makes it so special into putting out these athletes year in, year out?
Well, that's what it is, man. It's Beast Texas. That's what we do. High school football is off the chain here. To be out on that field in high school, you got to be a stud. I mean, it's so many different players, and I think that we're built for moments like that. But I hate to tell you, California does all right, but y'all a little soft. Y'all ain't as tough as the Texas boys down there. Sitting in this 100-degree weather, and now we freezing today. So it's a hell of a combination, and we always ready to play.
Hey, it's hard to play good football sometimes when you staring at palm trees when you going on a
That's
nine
right.
mile.
Yeah, y'all got all the distractions. Y'all got the beach,
Yeah.
y'all got the pretty women, and all that. In Texas, we just grind down here. It's all land. Out in the desert. Burning up 100 and some degrees, 2 days. They do it right down here.
Okay. Okay.
Hey, Pat, you were on Fox 4 Saturday morning talking about your son Graham, and you're saying he might be transferring from Brown. Is that what you're saying, or is he going to stay at Brown? What's the latest with Graham? And if you could tell our viewers.
Well, we're still working on that. He's in the portal right now. We're talking to some teams and actually visiting a couple of them, and he's going to have to make a grown man decision. Decide if he wants to go somewhere else, or if he wants to go back and play at Brown. But either way, I think he's going to be good one way or the other. Uh, the problem we're having here is dropping balls. He doesn't drop balls, so that's always a good plus for him. And he's gonna go out there and compete. Whether it be at Brown or one of these other schools that he has an opportunity to go to. So we're just trying to vet it all, look at all our possibilities, and then in the end, like I've done with all my children, I'll make them sit down and they'll make a grown person decision because it's their life, it's not mine, it's theirs. So they got to decide what path they want to go, and that way they can never say that I, you know, alter that in any kind of way. So just trying to look at all the opportunities, and hopefully he gets the best opportunity that he can go to, and he can go out and play the game, and then he has to do his part.
Excellent.
Pat, can you just talk about, what Patrick's life away from football has been like? His life has changed so much just over the last few years, from being drafted at, I think he was 21 when he got drafted at Texas Tech, to Super Bowl MVP. He's got 2 kids now, not just one, but he's got 2, a boy and a girl. And just what his life has been as he's kind of transitioned into these phases of his life. Is he someone that kind of takes everything as it comes? Is he like all over the place trying to put out fires on the family front, and then he's got football to deal with? How is he just as when it comes to just balancing his work life?
Well, he's becoming a man. Sports is something that he's done, all his life, which that comes easy. Being a husband, a father, and all the other things are things that he has to learn. And he's fortunate enough that he's been with Brittany for as long as he's been with her, and she does a great job of taking care of a lot of stuff and taking a lot of things off his plate where he can go out there and just play football. So they're a good combination. I think they're doing a great job. They brought me 2 beautiful grandchildren, and
Yeah.
things look good.
Mr. Mahomes, your son is nominated for Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, which is a prestigious, tremendous honor for every player. And I see all the things that he does off the field. He does a tremendous amount of work in the community with the 15 and Mahomes Foundation, especially working with disabled children and kids. Can you tap into why he's so passionate about that, and how he feels about the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year?
Oh, it's unbelievable, to be nominated for that honor. He's always had a plan, that he was going to be big in the community with charity and being big in the city, with everything that he does. My mom was in a wheelchair ever since I was 7 years old. So his grandmother was in a wheelchair. He's seen, some of the stuff she had to deal with, some of the struggles she's had to deal with. He's always been passionate about kids. Even when he was in high school, he was coaching, other kids and stuff like that. And he just wants everybody to, as best as they can, have the same opportunity, as he kind of had growing up. He wants them to be able to get the best out of their life that they can get, just like he's been able to get the best out of his life. and it's just something he's passionate about it. I'm very, very proud, being his father and everything, and it's just something that's great, man. I mean, I was really, really, really floored when he was nominated, and I'm just glad that he has a chance to go out there and serve the community and serve, the kids and the underprivileged kids and everybody. So that's a good thing.
Amen to that.
And Mr. Mahomes, we just celebrated, the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I just want to know what's your thoughts and like how was it growing up as far as you teaching your children just the legacy of such a great man, and like Brian said, the great things that he's doing in the community is the kind of the things that MLK was doing, trying to spread love and helping others and things like that. So I just wanted to know, your thoughts on that and how you were able to teach your, your children and you growing up, from the legacy of Martin Luther King.
Well, as a parent, that's what you try to do is you try to teach history, and you try to instill in them that, without, some of the sacrifices that, not only MLK did, but a lot of other people that you wouldn't have had the opportunity to play this game. I mean, I wouldn't have got the opportunity to be a baseball player if it wasn't for him. And you just try to instill that in them and let them know the importance and the sacrifices that they had to go through. And then, if you have children that are smart and that are listening and listen to their parents, they're going to pick up those lessons and they're going to study it and research it and figure out some of the things that they've done. And you even, appreciate it even more and more. But you always got to go with, the groundbreakers, the Jackie Robinsons, the MLK, the guys that made it all possible for, us to be able to do what we do.
Before I go here, we've got a fan question from Michael Jonigan. What attributes did Patrick learn the most from the MLB locker rooms that he was in?
The work ethic. I mean, I think he got to see guys that were, at the top of their game, that were the so-called best in the game, how hard they worked to keep that status, how hard they worked just to, to get there, how hard they worked to stay there, how much harder they had to work to stay there. And he saw these guys out there grinding every day, and that made him, know that not only am I here is good. No, I got to keep working and striving and trying to get better each and every day. And I think that's the most important thing that he learned while he was in those clubhouses.
Did he learn the F word there too?
Well, I don't know about that. He might have learned that from me.
Hey, so shout out to Matt in the comments. He wanted to ask you this question, Mr. Mahomes. Who's your favorite Negro League player growing up?
Oh, Satchel Paige. Satchel Paige. I studied. I actually seen a biography on him, a documentary on him, and was watching it, and I was watching this wind up, and so I took it myself and started using it out there, on the major league field, and I actually started having a lot more success when I did it. I was always a big fan of Satchel Paige. My dad, taught me about a lot of Negro League players, Satchel Paige, Josh Gibson, those guys, and I've been fortunate enough to get to go up to the Negro League Museum a few times now and hear the stories. The great, Bob Kendrick, he tells it like nobody else. And to hear, to hear those stories and what they had to go through and the things that they did just to play baseball, man, it's pretty, astounding. It's very, very, very surreal. You just don't. I mean, you don't realize this stuff. They had to go through. But yeah, that Satchel Paige is my man.
Okay,
I've got one here. Ask Pat to play a round of golf with me. We know that there's Cameo out there that you can pay and get videos. I don't know if you can do something like that.
That's my brother right there, Mr. Mahomes. He crazy.
But tell him I'm not playing golf with nobody at a negative 20-something degrees. We have to wait and see what it do in the summer.
hey, come to Cali. The weather is great. You can play golf all year round.
Exactly.
Oh, no doubt. 100%.
Pat, I'm known as the guy that won't stop talking about Tyreek Hill here on this show. And I just got to ask you, just how does it feel to see him in a different uniform, scoring here in Arrowhead amongst Chiefs Kingdom in a Dolphins uniform? And then what does it feel like to see guys like Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed shut him down the rest of the game?
Well, Tyreek is a unique talent, man. One of the best in the game, if not the best in the game. And, he will always be missed no matter what we do. We can win Super Bowl, but Tyreek Hill, anytime you got that guy on your team, it makes your team better. He's a gamer. It was a little gratifying to see Snead take care of him and McDuffie and all that and put those hands on him, because when you playing a guy like that, that's what you have to do. You got to be physical with him and don't let them get a free release off the line, and they were able to do that. And besides that play, that play was really not a real play. It was kind of a busted play that just happened to land in his hands, and Tyreek's gonna do the rest after he gets it in his hands. So it was a great game. I wasn't too worried about Miami. I was more worried about what we got going on this week, but as the week goes on, I'm feeling better and better about this, and I think that we're gonna go in and handle business and take care of business.
Excellent. You're doing this is the Satchel Paige windup you got here. You see it, Pat?
There we go.
Keep it.
Yeah.
Why isn't that signed?
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Pat, before we let you go, I want to thank you for coming on the show again. You and me built, you were on my show back in 2017 before Patrick was starting out at Arrowhead. You and your lovely wife, Trisha, I can't thank you enough for coming on. I'm definitely looking forward to you smoking that cigar after the Buffalo Bills game. And I just want to say thank you. And I speak for not only the Arrowhead allies, all the Shaggy Shane and the Starcade viewers. And I want to thank you again for coming on, Pat. Thanks a lot, buddy. I love you, man.
Well, y'all know I love being here. It's always a pleasure. I always have fun with you guys. Y'all asking great questions, and we get to, sit down and shoot the stuff a little bit and talk and everything. And I'm gonna light up. And as soon as we win that, and I'm gonna give y'all a shot. I'm gonna give y'all a shout out if somebody happens to be crazy enough to stick a camera in my face.
Hey, Pat,
I love it.
Two more wins till Vegas. What does Super Bowl week in Vegas look like for you?
Look like me and Usher might be partying, We'll just see what happens.
We'll be there. We'll hope we can catch up with you there. 2 more wins till it happens. Pat Mahomes.
On Radio Row, we got to have you stop by.
Yeah, come on by, buddy.
Oh, will do. Peace.
Yeah, peace. Thank you.
Silky P.
Thanks a lot, Silky P.
Ladies and gentlemen, here on Arrowhead Allies, you won't hear it anywhere else. You won't see it with your live, naked, steaming eyes. But here on what I believe to be the best Chief show going today. You can try to top it. You could try to duplicate it. You could try to replicate it. There's only one Arrowhead Allies.
Amen.
You said it's where the big boys play, Clint.
I was going there next. Yeah, that was where big boys play. So there you go. And I think that you heard it. I think that the devil's in the details in these interviews. You heard from Pat Mahomes. He talks with Patrick after every game. They're very close. You know this. And you heard it in there. You know that there was conversations between the two about what's going on. How do we get this team going? And you heard it in there. You heard the silver lining in that as to, hey, maybe you got to light into these guys. And it was before the Buffalo game where he did light into
Eric Bieniemy's not there. That's kind of why I went on that. Because
that was some good insight right there.
Yes.
That Mr. Mahomes gave us, because I always wondered if Patrick was kind of like that. If something were to happen, like a catastrophe that happened when we play Buffalo.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see the fourth wall being broken down, so to speak. With getting the inside scoop with that, because I know now, I think it confirms with me that I know that Patrick laid into somebody's ass after that, plenty asses after that game. And don't underestimate, fellas. Don't underestimate Patrick's influence on certain roster decisions.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it at that.
No, yeah, and I just love to hear that Pat Senior was pretty much like, Pat Pat never gave up. He's like, man, nah, we still can do it. You know, you didn't hear any doubt, you know, from them talking. He didn't like, you know, say he was discouraged or anything like that. He was just talking like, man, we can still do it. It just takes time. And we're so caught up, especially now, like I always say it, Chiefs fans, they're like Laker fans now because you expect every performance. You know, Lakers play 82 games and Laker fans expect them to win every game because we have LeBron and AD. And it's the same thing with the Chiefs. They expect the Chiefs to go, 17-0 every season and then go to the playoffs and win. Where it just doesn't really happen like that. It really takes time. Guys go through their ups and downs, but as long as you have that leader that's keeping everybody even keel, when it's time to go, it's time to go. And all of the nonsense from the regular season doesn't matter because it's playoff time.
And we are ready to bring on a leader amongst men, and that is our favorite wide receiver coach in all of football, high school, college, NFL. It is our man, Rob Likens, also co-offensive coordinator for SMU.
Definitely not the Chiefs receiver coach, and AAC champion SMU Mustangs.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
awesome, man. What an intro. God dang. Let's go.
Yo, what's up, Rob?
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Hey, so I was just talking to Patrick Mahomes Sr. about your guy, Rashee Rice, and just the development and growth that he has shown. What's your thoughts from week one until what you're seeing now with him? Where has he grown the most as a player, and why do you think he's excelling the way he is at this point of the season?
Yeah, you know, the tough thing for me is, you know, since I coach college football, we're working on Sunday. So a lot of times I don't get to watch the games. I did see some early games from him, and then I got a chance to watch like the playoffs the other night, and I get a chance to watch the later games in the season. So I would hear that, you know, he was improving, and I got some friends that are, you know, that are working in the Kansas City organization that would keep me updated and say he's doing really good. But, you know, probably watching the game the other night, the biggest thing that I noticed is Patrick is like looking for him. Like, that's what I noticed. Like even some of the balls that were knocked down at the line of scrimmage, they were getting, you know, thrown to Rashee. And so, man, that's a great sign now. I mean, coming from a rookie and a quarterback with, you know, Patrick in his past and how good he is, and he's actually looking for him in a playoff game, in under duress, in tough situations. That's like the best compliment you could ever get as a wide receiver, right? Because he knows that he trusts him. So his talent was never, you know, in doubt. Probably the biggest thing, and I think Patrick alluded to this in the interview after the game, is like in college football, we call it like freshmen, they hit a wall. And we call it hitting the freshman wall. No matter how good they do in camp and how good they do, somewhere around that fourth, fifth game, sixth game, they hit a wall, and it doesn't seem like they improve, right? Listening to Patrick talk and then watching him play with the confidence, to me, that's the biggest thing, is that dude was playing with confidence the other night. Rashee was, right? And so seeing that, like, I know that you got to have a rookie wall in the NFL, like college has the freshman wall. And that's what Patrick was saying, was that like Rashee maybe got to that wall, but then he busted through it through his work ethic, and he didn't stop getting better, and he just kept grinding and getting after it. And a lot of guys just can't do that. And so that shows you that he's mentally tough. Like the talent's always been there, but that's kind of like the biggest improvement I think that you got to have when you're a young player.
Yeah, talk about how smart he is as a football player. We're going to look at some numbers here. 8 catches, 130 yards. Those two are Chiefs rookie postseason records. He also had 2 touchdowns, and his season numbers are just outstanding. 77.5 catch percent, 7 touchdowns, almost 1,000 yards receiving. And he sat out that last game against the Chargers because they had already sewn up the 3 seed, couldn't move anywhere. And everyone talks about how Andy Reid's offense is so hard to learn. It takes years to learn. And we're seeing Rashee Rice lead all receivers for the Chiefs in yards and touchdowns and catches. Just talk about how smart he is to pick up this Andy Reid offense and take off like he has.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible. That's really, really special, guys. I don't know if you guys know how hard that is. We run a very simple offense. We think it may look complicated to the defense, but for the players itself, it seems pretty simple. And college players have a hard time, especially young guys, picking it up. And I can't even imagine being a rookie and then running the type of offense they're running. So that's a testament to how smart he is. He's the smartest guy I've ever coached in 34 years as far as being able to and the reason why he got better so fast is that you could tell it. He's a one-time guy. Like, you tell him one time, he's got it. A lot of guys, most guys, it's this time, then the next time, then the next time, then the next time, and then they finally get it. He was a one-time guy in knowing what to do, and then also you show him how to run a route. He was a one-time guy, and then he got it. And so that makes you like able to play, as a young player. But the other thing too is, and we did this, if you're a good player and you're somebody that the quarterback loves to throw the ball to, you can't just play one position. You can't just play outside receiver. They're going to roll the coverages to you. They're going to take you out of the game. You can take an outside receiver out of a game if you want to. You just dedicate some guys to him. Yeah, you're going to get some one-on-ones somewhere else. But if you want to get the ball to a great player, he has to move around. Therefore, he's got to do what? He's got to learn more than one position. And, watching the Chiefs play, they do as good a job, Andy does, and Matt, they do as good a job as any team, in the NFL of finding their players, maximizing their potential, their talent, and then putting them in situations so that they can be successful. But in order to do that, you got to be able to learn and the motions and he's playing slot, he's playing outside, he's motioning, he's getting, and that, to me, that was extremely impressive the other night to watch that grow.
Well, first off, Rob, I got to tell you, congratulations to the SMU Mustangs winning the AAC conference this year. What a ride it was.
Yes.
Beating the likes of Tulane, who was in the Cotton Bowl, I believe, a year ago. You guys beat them. And then now going to the ACC as college football. As a junkie, it's even hard for me sometimes to keep up on all this. It's going to be exciting. But some of the strengths with Rashee that we talked about before the season, what I saw on tape was his ability to downfield run away from defenders. The straight line speed, it's not something that just lights you up when you look at it, but it's transitioned to the NFL. When he catches the ball, he led the league in yards after catch. In your wildest dreams, I mean, Puka Nacua for the LA Rams is the only receiver that had more receiving yards than Rashee this year. We saw exactly those strengths play out all through the year. The ability to run away from defenders, the ability to separate, the ability to, run solid and crisp routes. Those strengths all came to fruition, just like we talked about back in August. So
yeah,
that when you look at that on tape, it all happened. And so just kind of talk about Rashee's film going into the NFL and now how it has presented itself almost a year later.
Yeah. I appreciate what you said, Clint. Thank you.
That's a great accomplishment.
We had a great year. That was a lot of fun. Like, that's the first time we've won the conference championship at SMU in 40 years.
Yeah, since the Southwest Conference.
That's crazy. And just so happy for all the fans at SMU that have been fighting through the death penalty and all the way up till now. Like, we wanted to win it for them. All of the guys that have been around and stuck through those hard times. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, one of the things that I look for when I go out recruiting, and I think you guys asked me this question last time I was on, was like, what do you look for a receiver? Like, to me, straight line speeds, that's all great. Like, lateral movement, and that's what makes Rashee so elusive, is what you might call spot quickness. When a guy sticks his toe in the ground or his foot in the ground, like with his right foot, and then how long does it take him to get laterally 3 yards? And like, Rashee is out of this world at that. So that's where the separation comes from, is guys that are able to get that really quick spot quickness, lateral movement. And for his size, it's pretty incredible. So what happens is when a guy catches a ball, a defender takes a tackle angle towards him, right?
Yeah.
And so, if a guy catches the ball and then he sticks his foot in the ground, then all of a sudden he's over here really quick. Your angle for your tackle's messed up, right? It's different. It changes on you instantly. And so I think that's what helps Rashee, is like, you look at this dude, he's big, and you're like, okay, he's going to be here. I'm taking this angle to tackle him. Then holy crap, he's over here. And so that's where he gets his separation from. And that's when he has the ball in his hand. He takes that first step after the catch. I think he gets the defenders to have bad tackle angles.
When Rashee was at SMU, you as a coach, nobody looked at him probably more than you as his position coach. What was his number one attribute you thought that could carry him to being a starter in the league? And how has that skill set sharpened since he's been with the Chiefs?
Yeah, I kind of alluded to that already, is like his ability to learn so fast. Mm-hmm. Like it's kind of hard to explain like how much that matters in your growth as in everybody, any job. Like if you can tell a guy, hey man, this, and he gets it like right now, well, he's ready to get something else taught to him, right? And so Rashee was out of this world. And I think I even told you a story last time I was on that while I was up teaching, I have the outside receivers and I have the inside receivers in my room, and he played outside receiver for me. And, and he would move around. So when I would coach the inside receivers and I would be telling them something, and if I missed something, there was Rashee raising his hand in the back. And and he'd go, hey, coach, you forgot to tell him this. And I'll be honest with you, I'd never been around that before. Like, he's that smart, okay? About football, he loves ball. And so he understands why you're running plays as well. And I can go talk about that for hours, how important that is. That's coach mode, right? So literally now you have a guy that's almost like got a coach's brain, and he's out on the field. So now his ability you can pour 3 to 4 to 5 times more into him because he's able to take it and accept it and put it into action than you can with like this other guy over here. Like, I'm still on first base with this dude over here. Like, Rashee's done hit 4 home runs, right? You know what I'm saying? And so your ability to like pour more into him and he can handle it. That's what to me is like, I knew he was going to be, I didn't know it was going to happen this fast. Like, I'm not going to be one of those guys. Like, I knew this was going to happen, but that's why I think it has happened, this fast because of that.
When you see, you saw him, of course, a lot at SMU being the wide receiver coach. Could you tell his mental makeup? Like, when you see how good he is now, obviously the game doesn't seem too big for him. We have seen, I'm 54 years old. We have seen rookies get in the playoffs sometime, and when the lights come on, when the lights are the brightest and they're on the biggest stage, the game seems too big for them. Naturally, they're rookies. How many weeks into training Rashee or teaching Rashee and coaching him did you see, hey, this game isn't too big for him? Do you recall that moment?
Yes, we were playing Maryland, and so like when you're at SMU and you're, a group of 5, I guess you would say, you get a chance to play a Power 5 team like in the Big Ten. So we went out to Maryland on the road, and watching him in those moments, I think most the NFL scouts that were looking at him and evaluating him, always refer back to that game. Like, that would have been his biggest game to play in TCU, not only because of how good those teams are, or Power 5, is that they had draftable corners that he went against. And I'm not going to sit here and like talk bad about those guys or whatever, those corners, but like he did really well against those dudes. Like, he didn't just do really well. Like, he was lighting people up. Like, it was like those were his best games. You know what I mean? And so you're like, whoa, okay, this guy loves the moment. Just like, just like you said, Shames, like he loves the moment. You could tell right away in our first, I think those were our first 4 games, somewhere in that span, that that he loves the limelight.
So, Coach, I asked this question to Pat Senior, which you coached at Cal for a couple years. Now you're at SMU. What are the difference between players from California and players from Texas? You see, Rashee is a Texas guy playing some great football, But I'm in Los Angeles, and I'm telling you, we have the best athletes in whatever sport. I don't care what anybody say. And I want to know what you think with you being able to coach both types of players.
You still got to recruit, Michael. He can't go hard on California players or his own Texas
No,
players.
he
Thank you.
say,
Michael, you're going to get me in trouble.
you don't have
I'm not coming there, coach. I heard what you said about California players.
You can't do that to me, man.
California players are soft. We know.
Hey, just tell them.
I didn't say it.
Hey, tell them the California guys. Hey, they're Hollywood, but they are great athletes. They'll love that.
Yeah, we'll see him transferring out of USC here in a couple years.
Yeah, I will say, athletically, yes. There's some phenomenal. The amount of athletes that are in the state of California is extremely impressive. The biggest thing that I think I've noticed, I don't think I'll get in trouble saying this, is when you go, there's probably more programs like in Texas that maybe you would say there's more bigger programs in Texas. There's more, however I'm trying to say that. It's really impressive to watch these coaches in Texas with their programs and how hard and really tough that they coach these guys. It is different. I will say that I've coached in almost 10 universities. I've coached East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, Florida. I'll just say it's really, really impressive to walk into some of these Texas high school programs and watch them while they're working out in the weight room, watch them in their off-season program, and they have like some really cool militaristic stuff that they do, hold each other accountable, and this is from early age, you know what I mean? So like there kind of is that stigma about Texas and the tough football and all that stuff. I mean, it is kind of true when you watch these guys and the way that they're coached and the way their off-season programs are handled.
Okay. Before I go here, Coach, we have a fan question here. Morgan Van Shiver. How is Rice's ability to track and catch the deep ball, Coach? We need a Rashee with an expanded route tree.
Yes. You know what? I think like his ability to track is really good. One of the things that I think he's going to grow in, and that is going to be the route running in the NFL, because yes, when you're in college, we have like 2 hours a day with them, and that's it. Like we don't get a chance. We have less time in college than high school and NFL. So his ability to train, get better, run routes, more extensive, differently run routes, because in our offense, we didn't run a ton of play action. Like I know there's the dagger concept, the big middle dig routes and all that stuff, the 16-yard big dig routes in the NFL, very popular. And you see that a lot. You know, he didn't do a ton of that in college. So he's going to get better as he goes on. And that's just because, like, quite honestly, you know, what we had to do with him was hey guys, please go man coverage, and people would go man coverage, and we go, all right, and we just throw it up, and my man would go up and get it. And that's all we really had to do for him to be successful, because he would beat just about anybody you put out there for a 50-50 jump ball. You know, we had a saying, he wasn't a 50-50 guy, he was a 90-10 guy, you know, maybe better than that. Like he made some phenomenal catches, and so why would you do something else, right? You know, like if it's not broke, don't fix it. I mean, if my man is catching, you know, 90 balls for over 1,000 and all this stuff, you know, we're not just going to put an expanded route tree in for the heck of it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I am excited to watch him as his career grows in the NFL, and he is going to get better at that. Just remember, he's just a rookie, but he learns really fast, and he'll do that. But his ability to track a ball, that is something we took great pride in. I know that like there was some concern. He had a couple of drops early in the year, but I don't push the panic button. My man can catch it over the shoulder, and he can find the ball in the air and go get it and track it.
Absolutely. I mean, he was out there in negative 15-degree wind chill, negative 27-degree, negative 30. It kept changing all the time, and he was plucking the ball out of the air.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you a little bit about that, because that goes with confidence. You talked about him gaining confidence as the season went on. And even in those frigid temperatures. But the Chiefs pretty much had the same wide receiver core outside of a Rashee Rice that they did last year. But this year they lead the league in drops. And we've got this new young receiver coach. So my question to you is like, what is the job of a wide receiver coach, especially this young kid coming in? And why are we seeing just this vast, like high number of drops that they've had leading the league in drops? And just how much does confidence play into that for a receiver?
Yeah. I've always said that there's a reason why you drop a ball. Like you can't just yell out as a coach, catch the ball. Yeah. I mean, come on.
That's what we yell out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sure. And I want to yell that out too when one of my guys drop a pass. But there's two reasons why guys drop a ball. One, is I'm trying to get my hands in the camera. There we go, like that. You guys see that right there?
Yeah.
All right.
DDP.
There you go. Right. So if the farther your hands are apart, all right, the easier the ball is to split your hands. Okay. Mm-hmm. So as guys are running routes, as guys turn around, as the ball approaches them, where do their hands start from? If they drop their hands down by their hips, then as their hands come up, you have a tendency to clamp the ball and come at it like, I'm trying to get it in the camera, and come at it like this. Okay. That's not good. All right. You have to shoot your hands to the football. So you talk, you hear wide receiver coaches say have tight hands at the top of your route. Don't drop your hands down at your waist, because where your hands start means everything at the top of your route when the ball is approaching you. So you want to shoot your hands. You want to push your hands to the ball with tight fingers. And then that way the ball doesn't split your hands. So pay attention to that next time you watch a ball get dropped in the NFL and they do it in slow-mo. Look how wide their hands are. Look how tight their hands are. And then see where their hands started once they saw the ball coming to them. Are they start them at the hips, or are they keeping them inside the chest area and pushing their hands to the ball? That's a big key. The second thing is, and I was talking to my receivers the other day about this, is like shoot and pull. I don't know if you guys ever shoot pull. The time, no matter how good you are, the times that you miss the easy ball is when you're thinking about how you're going to set the cue ball up to hit your next shot, right? And it's almost like, okay, I'm thinking about how I'm going to make this dude miss after I catch this ball. And that was always Rashee's problem at times. He knows he has that great quick step, and he's already thinking about what I'm going to do after I catch this ball, that you don't concentrate and really watch. Your eyes have to track the nose of that football, and you literally got to watch it touch the skin of your fingers. You got to watch that happen. So those two things, if you'll stay on top of the dudes on that, and I'm talking, that's all you'll hear me say at practice is I'm screaming that, look the ball in, you didn't look it in, I watched it. I mean, and they think I'm crazy, but I know that that's going to help you not drop a ball in a big moment. So those are the two things I think that contribute to dropping balls.
And then if a wide receiver coach position in the NFL somewhere in the Midwest were to come open, is it okay if I would float your name out there?
Just hypothetically.
I just signed a new contract.
Going to the ACC here.
However, no.
That's good enough for me, Coach. However, is good enough for me.
Hey,
I will say this: one day, how fun would it be for me to be in the NFL and coach some of the guys that I coached in college, which
like a Rashee Rice here in Kansas City. I don't know.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I coached Rashee Rice. Yeah. And Brandon Ayuk and
we're keeping you here in Kansas City, Coach. So.
Well, hey, Blake Baker from Mizzou signed a deal and went to LSU with about 3 days later. We know how these things go.
Yeah, I coached with Blake at Miami. So
yeah,
I know
he was.
Him. Come on.
Yeah, we cover Mizzou here. We were at the Cotton Bowl. We got to see that thing through from Missouri. So very proud of that. Go ahead, Brian.
For future athletes, high school wide receivers, as a college coach, what do you look for?
The lateral movement piece that I've talked about extensively, but also I like to hear guys talk about playing football. You would be surprised what people want to talk about now in the recruiting process. I'll just say that. There's all kinds of stuff going on, as you know, but when I hear a guy when I can tell, just like I had Jaden Daniels on an official visit at Arizona State, right? I coached Jaden Daniels his freshman year.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a quiet kid, so I'm back and forth on like, okay, is he a leader and all that stuff? And then we started like talking about the football piece and just like football. And man, his eyes lit up, leaned, was at the edge of his seat when he talked ball. And I was like, okay, yes. I want to see that they love the game of football. Like Rashee loves to play football, right? And what that means is when you fail, it's going to, can I say pissed off? It's going to piss you off, right? Yeah. It's going to piss you off so bad, you're going to do something about it. If it doesn't hurt you to fail and you really don't want to make a change, you're not going to be successful in the NFL or football. You're going to be out of there so fast, it's not going to be funny. So I want guys that, man, and Rashee is a very proudful guy. And so, like, when he would mess up, it bothers him so much. It's almost like, okay, that will never happen again. And then you take the steps to make sure it doesn't happen again. Those are the guys I look for. So who asked me that? Brian? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Those are the guys that I look for, man. When I start to talk about the football piece and the training, and if I hear the passion in their voice and you can just see it, they almost like grind their teeth when they're talking to you. You're like, yeah, that's a dude. That's a dude.
Yeah. I asked Coach because I coach 7th and 8th grade football, and it's interesting you say that because I the guys who I coach, you get a small percentage of them that's really into ball, but most of them are not, and it's hard to keep those guys engaged.
Yeah. Exactly right. That's why I look for those guys, and the guys that really kind of all they want is to show me love in recruiting. Is that what are they going to do when they get there and you don't recruit them anymore? I mean, well, I guess you got to recruit them still because of the transfer portal now. So whatever. Speaking
of that, Coach, Michael Donegan here. We just talked to Pat Mahomes Sr. He says, does Coach have a scout on Patrick's brother, Graham? Pat Mahomes Sr., his son, Graham, is at Brown. He's in the transfer portal. So maybe we're helping here on the recruiting trail.
I'm so glad by the NCAA rules, I'm not allowed to answer that.
That's why we need to get here to Kansas City. Then
we look at it. We'll look at everything.
The NCAA still has rules.
Anybody. We just need to know about them. That's all. But I'm not allowed to say about who we recruit.
Yeah, we're just letting you know that we're making you aware that there is a student in the transfer portal, and now you're aware of it. So
hold on, let me screenshot that. No, I'm just playing.
The NCAA, carries a heavy hand. We know this. We know they're not spineless jellyfish. It's all good. Before we get you out of here, Robin, we can't wait. And I tell you, looking at the schedule for SMU next year, we got to get down and cover a Mustangs game. We cover the Missouri Tigers here, but we got to come down. You got an ACC schedule. It's going to be awesome next year. We are going to make it a point to come down to Dallas. Great on-campus facility down there for the SMU Mustangs. Does it give you a bigger high when you see a player succeed when you're coaching them at the time they're there, or is it a bigger high to see them achieve as an adult, become a man, and achieve at the next levels, like Rashee Rice is doing, like a Brandon Ayuk and so many others? What's the bigger high?
Yeah, that is such a good question. It's a different excitement. It's a different deal. Like when they're here, it's like, okay, I just watched the football coaching and everything I poured into them as a player play out on the field within, a couple years. But when you see them go on and become great husbands and fathers, and you watch them be successful, and you watch them handle an interview that they couldn't handle, back when you first started with them. And that's like a father moment. if that makes sense.
Wow.
Like that's when you go, yes, like, yes, I did a great job on the other stuff that I'm very prideful about is like, character, being a great teammate, being unselfish, understanding that I need others around me for me to be successful. Therefore, if I need them, that means they need me and I need to pour into them, and understanding all of that stuff. So, man, great question. Thank you for asking me that because I love that. That's why I do what I do is to see those moments, man. It's incredible. Just like watching Jared Goff the other night. I coached him at Cal, and seeing him when he got traded, that was a tough time for him. And then just seeing him to like win that game, like I was just like, I looked back and just it was so awesome to watch, man. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. We can't thank you enough.
Yeah.
It's funny knowing you, Rob, that you've been on a couple times. It's hard for me to imagine you living in Berkeley, California. I don't know why. It blows my mind a little bit. I bet you have some good stories, though.
He's got
We'll tell.
tattoo, DBS, don't be soft. So,
DBS.
California, make them soft.
That's right. Hey, and who's getting them with me? Where are you guys at on that?
We're trying. We told
When
Rashee.
Rashee comes on the show, we're working on it.
We met him. We interviewed Rashee back this past summer. We said we'll get the tattoos. We got to get it done. So we're gonna give him this year. We're gonna give him a benefit of the doubt. Get through the playoffs. Get to the Super Bowl, and then we'll all do "Don't Be Soft" together. Is that a deal?
Yes.
Is this all five?
We'll all do it.
Yes.
Yeah,
CBS.
Brian,
we'll talk about it. We'll talk
he's
about
not
it.
shaking his head. Hold on.
I'm unfamiliar with this wager. So.
It's funny because the soft ones, the actual soft ones, Noah and I are like all on board. So that's the funny part of this.
Yeah. Hey, I'll get another one. I don't
Let's
care.
do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
DBS part 2.
Coach is getting an Arrowhead Allies tattoo, so that's what we're going to do.
Coach, thank you so much again,
Thanks,
man.
Coach.
We'll talk
Always
before
an
the season for sure.
Appreciate it.
All right. A lot
Thank
of
you.
fun, guys. Thank you so much for having me on.
You
Yeah,
bet.
no
Thanks a
problem.
lot.
We're having our attorneys look at your contract, see if we can get you here to Kansas City. But in the meantime, thank you, Coach. Always an honor.
Thanks,
All
Coach.
right, take care, guys.
You too.
That was
That's
awesome.
cool.
That's what we do here, but that's what we do. You've come to know it. You've come to expect it. And we are meeting those expectations every week in Arrowhead Allies. Guys, it's been some of the most fun I've had all year. And this is in the divisional playoff round. There's so much to play for, so much at stake. Chiefs and Bills, it's coming up. Guys, how about it? Sometimes you just look around and say, wow, is this my life? I used to think that back when I had a real job. Now I think that in the most positive way possible.
Amen to that.
Yeah. It's the divisional round is sneaky. It's the most dangerous round of the tournament, and the divisional round in the past has been sort of a nightmare for us in Chiefs Kingdom.
True.
And have you ever played a video game like Mario Brothers or Ninja Turtles or something where there's like the hard part and then there's the very hard part and then there's the end? It's like I feel like the divisional part is like harder than like the AFC Championship game, although that makes no sense in the entire world.
That's
It's
like
just
Ninja
based on
Turtles, the NES game, where the hardest part is in the middle, where you're floating in the water
Exactly.
and the seaweed is zapping you. And yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I say all that to say, look, we don't know what's about to happen in this divisional round, especially with the Chiefs on the road at Buffalo. So it's definitely a dice roll. It's a dice roll for all games.
Oh man, let's get to the predictions, man.
Hold on, before we get to predictions,
Okay, sorry.
we forgot to do our regular season awards. I'm going to run through these so we can get to predictions as fast as possible. We have our Roadblock Award because George Pickens is out here not blocking, and so he's kind of roadblocking to get into the end zone.
Is
My
that
favorite
Hacksaw
wrestler.
Jim Duggan?
It's the roadblock.
Cam Newton, no effort.
No effort award. Cam Newton did not go for the fumble in Super Bowl 50, and Deontay Johnson has no interest in that ball on the ground that the Bengals are picking up and going to run in for a touchdown. And then our Willie Beeman Backup Quarterback Award. Who was the Backup Quarterback of the Year? Your nominees: Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, Joe Flacco,
Oh, you got to be
or
Flacco.
Jake Browning. And the winner is, yes.
Flacco, yeah.
Oh, I had Easton Stick on mine, but
Yeah, Easton Stick was a good one, too. I don't think he ever completed a pass. He was horrendous. But Taylor Swift, we wanted to be meaner to the receivers, but that Taylor Swift doesn't have a mean bone in her body. You see her there. She won 4 Grammys many years ago. She accidentally dropped one, and our receivers are familiar with that, except they're not trying to catch 4 footballs at once. So, Taylor, you're off the hook. The receivers, you are not. That's our Whoopsie Daisy Award. And then our Friday the 13th, part 6, Josh lives. Clint mentioned it last week. A few weeks ago, they were the 11 seed. Now they're the 2 seed hosting the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round. They are back from the dead, and we'll see what they can do. We already showed our That's Cute award for Brian. We had that last year. It comes back because Tyreek Hill and those Dolphins, they're cute in September, but like he says, the weather gets cold, and Tua and the Dolphins, they crumble. And our last one, we had a Look What You Did, Little Jerk, Home Alone award that last year. This one, there's 10 position groups on this team, and you're the only one that has to cause trouble, receivers.
Go up to the attic and sleep with Fuller. That's what that needs to be. That is great.
Yo, that was incredible, Noah. Just bravo, bro.
We had a loaded show, and we had to get him in, guys. It's so loaded.
We also have Connor Embry becoming the new head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, I love that. Yes. I love that.
And Rob Likens comes here to fill that.
I'm going to get Rob Likens here if it's the last thing I do.
Yes.
I'm
man,
on it.
DBS.
That was what a show, guys. I'm glad we got this in while we're all still smiling and getting along, because it is prediction time. It's time to really look this thing in the eye. And you know what? I'm a nostalgic person. Shane Williams, January 24th, 1994, the Chiefs went to Buffalo the last time we played a playoff game at Buffalo. And this Sunday, because I truly believed, like Mick told Rocky in Rocky 3, you're not as hungry. You ain't been hungry since you won that belt. You'll knock you tomorrow, Rock. It's going to be all over
Montana
again.
and Kelly?
It was 30-13. I have the Buffalo Bills winning, and winning big as they finally get over the hump. And the Chiefs season is put to rest this Sunday, 5:30 p.m. Central Time. The Buffalo Bills take that next step towards immortality, and they do it at our damn expense.
Now, can I take this?
Yes.
The Chiefs are not only going to get revenge for 30 years ago, a game that I watched at my girlfriend's apartment on a TV about as big as this screen here, marrying and having 2 kids with, and I'm still together. I want to go back 32 years to the divisional round where the Chiefs beat the Raiders in the first home game at Arrowhead and went to the divisional round and got spanked, I think 37-14, something like that. And Vlasic had to play second half because DeBerg got hurt.
So
we're going to get
14.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you're close to me.
So
to my score. That's pretty close.
No, I'm not. That was the score then.
Yeah.
So I'm going. The Chiefs are going to get the revenge for those 2 playoff losses in 91 and 93. This Sunday, take it to the bank. Your Kansas City Chiefs 24, the Buffalo Bills 20. Talk to me, Brian.
Man, so that January winter day, I remember like it was yesterday. I do. It was snowy. It was real dreary outside, like just real cloudy, foggy, snowy. And this was a week after the Chiefs had triumphed over the Houston Oilers to come back and win 28-20 in the Astrodome. And boy, I was 8 years old and watching Joe Montana have a concussion because of Bruce Smith's dirty hit that should have been an ejectable penalty, in my opinion. No love to Bruce Smith on this show. And then we had no chance after that. Dave Craig came in, and he couldn't do it. I remember that like it was yesterday. I was 8 years old, and we need revenge, and we're going to get it, and it's going to be served cold, and it's going to be delicious. Cold Buffalo wings for the Buffalo Bills. The Chiefs get the dub, 29-28, a walk-off field goal from Harrison Butker.
Ooh.
That would be his 5th field goal, by the way, in that game.
That's
Hey,
all
makes sense.
I got to hear what Michael remembers about 30 years ago this month. Talk to me, Michael.
Man, I don't remember none of that. I think I was 4 years old, so it's something I can't really remember. But I think it's going to be a great game. What's going to help the Chiefs is the defeat they suffered earlier in the year because they had no Drew Tranquil in that game. and
No
James
Pacheco.
Cook cooked them out of the backfield. No Pacheco, and we saw that the Steelers were able to kind of run the ball on them. And Buffalo is coming into this game with so many DBs that are hurt. Like, I don't know who's going to be in their secondary. And I know the Chiefs don't have the best receiving group, but they can get some guys that can make some things happen. But I think it's going to be Butker. I think he's going to kick like 3 or 4 field goals, and it's going to come down to the very end of the game. And he's going to do his thing to shut up those voters who denied him from being a Pro Bowler and All-Pro. He's going to put the Chiefs over the top, 27-24, and all the Bill fans will be hurt. They might even throw Josh Allen through a table after the game because they're going to be disappointed.
As
But
God is
Chiefs
my
are going to take
witness.
care of business.
Noah, it looks like you and me hanging out, buddy boy. Tag team. Woo-hoo!
Not so fast. Actually, yes, we will be hanging out.
Yeah,
we will be a
buddy.
tag team because the Chiefs will be up 26-20 at the end of the game, and then Dalton Kincaid, their new young tight end, will score a last-second touchdown against Justin Reed in the corner of the end zone, leaving the Chiefs with 13 seconds left. We've been here before, but there's no Tyreek Hill. The magic is gone. So there's no 13-second magic left here, and the Bills get the victory 27-26.
Yeah, buddy.
You two are ridiculous.
We get it. We know. I like it. Caleb Robinson says it's refreshing. He says it's refreshing to come in here and hear non-biased takes. That's why Caleb Robinson comes in here to enjoy these shows each and every week.
Have you forgot about Pat Senior Cigar? Come on.
Yeah.
That did
smoking
almost
on that
mind.
Josh Allen.
I need him to win so he gets interviewed and then gives us that shout out that he promised.
Hulk Hogan, you can go to hell.
Silky. That already happened. Silky P's not going anywhere where it's below 35 degrees. I'll tell you that. He's not going to Kansas City or Buffalo until we get some good weather going.
Next Tuesday, we're celebrating a victory, brothers. We're celebrating a victory, allies.
No,
Come
it's
back
not.
and join us.
We will have a
Come back
mortuary.
and
We will
join
have a
us.
funeral for the 2023 Kansas City Chiefs
Come
next
back.
week, and it's going to be onward and upward from there. And you three will be groveling at our very souls as we tell you how you all three cost us the Super Bowl in 2023.
Warm up that crow. Warm up that crow.
Warm up that crow, baby. Get
I hope
ready.
I'm wrong and go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.